What's up, guys? It's Rich back with another video for you today. And in today's video, we're going to do something a little different. I don't really talk about Marvel Rivals on my channel too much. However, I do spend a decent amount of time playing it off stream, and I wanted to go ahead and cover some of the best settings for Season 2 as it did just launch. And we're going to see what's new, what's changed here. But the main thing I want to do with this video is just practically go over some of the best settings for performance for Season 2. If you do enjoy this Marvel Rivals content, make sure you guys drop that like and drop that sub button. At least like that, I'll know if you guys do enjoy this content. I'll continue to post it on my channel and continue to obviously make Marvel Rivals related content. So with that being said, I won't waste too much more of your time. I'll drop into settings here and kind of just go over some of the quick settings and not take up too much of your time. Target display, primary monitor, display mode, borderless, windowed, or full screen. I don't notice a performance difference in the two of them. The reason I have borderless windowed is just so I can alt tab out of one monitor, considering I have three of them. Everything else is grayed out. However, if you are on full screen, it will let you change some of this stuff. I do sometimes play in 16:10, but I do also sometimes just stay in 16:9. Completely personal preference there. Anti-aliasing and super resolution type. I know this has a lot of controversial takes from a lot of people. NVIDIA DLSS, I always use it on all my games, even my FPS shooters. There is no real input latency as far as when it comes to my PC using NVIDIA DLSS. My super resolution mode is going to be quality. Super resolution sharpening set to 8. NVIDIA DLSS frame generation leads to input latency, so you want to make sure that's always off. A lot of people do confuse the two in between just using NVIDIA DLSS regularly to improve performance versus frame gen, which adds input latency because it's generating AI generated frames. NVIDIA reflex low latency, make sure that's on. Brightness current 50, limit FPS off, show FPS on, network stats on, VSync off. I know a lot of people sometimes talk about limit FPS to make sure there's no screen tearing. However, I do feel like the lowest input latency is achieved with unlimited FPS. Now down here, it's going to be very simple. Honestly, just trigger everything to low. The game can look beautiful at times. However, if you're grabbing a clip or something like that, you could turn this up or anything like that. But I want the best performance, especially when I'm playing competitive. Toggle all this to off or low for the best overall performance without stutters in game. I never have any issues with my frames as long as these are the settings I'm running. The game is pretty well optimized. For my audio tab, I have everything set to 100. The reason is because I use a Elgato Wavelink and Elgato Wavelink software. So unfortunately, I don't really do any of my setting in game. I just obviously tweak my audio outside of it. But I will say one setting I have on is the 3D enhancement, and make sure this is set to headphones. All right, so switching over to the keyboard tab, not a lot here has changed, but I do use mouse sensitivity 0.90. I may be tweaking this a little bit as I have been running raw input. I recommend you have this on as well now. This automatically reduces any input latency and connection between the game and your mouse, and it honestly feels amazing. Make sure all these other settings are off. Each one of these other settings is honestly just going to add input latency, and you don't want any of that, but the raw input one is the best feeling one in my opinion, but also obviously try that. It's also personal preference in my opinion. This is my reticle right here. It's a little blue circle with the dot in the middle. If you want my reticle code, I'll add it into the description. Feel free to copy it as well if you want to. Now, my keybinds, I didn't really mess around with it too much. The main thing I really added was I added melee attack to my mouse button and then the next weapon switch. If I ever play Punisher, from the shotgun to the AR to my mouse button. So that's just a little bit easier for me to do. But other than that, not too much I changed there. Now, however, again, that's all personal preference, but that's what worked for me last season. Now, the last tab I have over here is going to be my accessibility settings. These are the colors of my allies and enemies. For me, the main one, I recommend switching. Everything else you can leave as default if you want to. Enemy color, I prefer yellow. It just seems like it stands out a lot easier to me as far as what enemies are and who the bad guys are. Definitely would recommend trying and switching these up to see what better overall highlights to your eyes and what stands out better, guys. All right, guys, I want to keep it sweet and simple. Obviously, hopefully this helps you out. Hopefully you guys do enjoy Marvel Rivals Season 2. I'm excited to see it again. If you do enjoy my Marvel Rivals content, I do love playing this game, but I generally try and stay away from it for my channel. But if people do enjoy my Marvel Rivals content, I'll continue to make more of it and obviously work on it for you guys. All right, guys, again, thanks for watching. Enjoy your day. I'll catch you guys later. See you out there. Peace and love. Bye.